Hello and welcome to the Sisters for Fitness Wellness Show. I'm Stephanie Gaines-Bryant. Our guest today is Shene Magee, and she is the founder and operator of the Nehe Foundation.
That's correct.
Nehe stands for Nehemiah.
Nehe stands for Nehemiah.
Today we're talking about a very important subject, domestic violence. We've heard a lot about domestic violence in the news lately in relation to Hollywood celebrities, in relation to having someone very close to the White House,
Yes.
The FBI discovering that he had been an abuser. We're seeing it's out in the public right now, but it's focusing on people who are in high-profile positions, people of power. But of course, we know domestic violence affects everyday people. So it's a pleasure having you here today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here today.
So let's start off talking about what made you develop this organization.
Well, about 3 years ago, I had a family member, a really close family member, married 16 years at the time. 13 years, her husband abused her. Each time, the first time, as normal, as we all know, it starts with a hit or a push, or maybe the person may speak, abruptly or inappropriate, and then it escalates. So in the 13 years, it escalated. In January 2015, it became life or death for her. And her abuser, her husband, he would abuse in the middle of the night. So she's sleeping, everyone had a great day, everyone went to work, kids went to school, everyone came home, dinner, normal family things. Everyone would go to bed, and she would wake up to being abused. He would fight her in the middle of the night. This particular event, it made the news, and it caught my attention the next morning as I'm preparing for work. And when I realized it was her, I went to get her. She lives in Virginia, and I didn't recognize her.
Well, what caused it to make the news? Because most of these cases don't make the news.
It was titled, "Alexandria Man Found Stabbed." So that got my attention because they live in Virginia. And the mere fact that she fought back, she had to save herself. I'm going to assume that's why it made the news. And again, it's domestic violence. And because the attack it wasn't the normal, he beat me or he pushed me, he almost died as well.
So did she ask for help before it got to the point where it made news? Had she asked for help?
No. Being the closest relative here, I would always reach out, and I never said, you gotta leave him. The conversation would be, this isn't the right thing, he shouldn't do this, he needs help. Make sure he gets help. And she'll go away, she would come with me for about 3 to 5 weeks or so, and then of course, as an abuser, you make up. You go back to the honeymoon stage. That's part of one of the abusive cycles. So during that time, everything is good again. We're gonna date again, we're gonna have fun again, I'm gonna be nice again, I'm not gonna be mean, and promises are made. So during those honeymoon stages, you begin to say, this person, he's really not that bad. He really loves me. He didn't mean to do these kind of things.
So you found that she was more worried about him than she was herself,
which
is pretty common.
Yeah, that is very common because as a victim or a survivor to domestic violence, you don't think about yourself. You think about that person because what you seem to do is you think about all of the good, even though domestic violence is the worst thing, but that's a one-time event. So you compartmentalize that. He's like, oh, well, he's a good husband, he's a good provider, he's a good father.
Or they worry about what are family members and friends and coworkers, what are they gonna say about him?
So you internalize all of that and you just hold it in. And that's one of the things where we say it takes about 7 times to leave an event. to leave, or they leave and go back, because you're going through that process the whole time.
And what was the outcome of her situation?
He was charged. He was facing 20 years. She did not press charges against him, so she saved his life that evening, and then she saved him again. With domestic violence being as it is now, with the new laws that we have now to protect our survivors and our victims, most states or counties will press charges even if you don't want to. So with them, he had to go through domestic violence training. He had to go through counseling. He was on probation, and of course a protective order was put in place. So because they are married and there are children involved, they were able to work a working relationship for the children. They are still separated. She's doing well. She went through counseling. The kids are doing well. They went through counseling, and she's now giving back to the community as well.
Very good.
And she speaks about her domestic violence situation.
Now, you developed this organization. What do you all do?
Okay, so what Nehe does is we provide up to 72 hours of emergency stay. We partner with Prince George's County Family Justice Center that's under the direction of Ms. Denise McCain. So if a victim or survivor comes into the Justice Center, it's a one-stop shop. So what we do, when you have nowhere else to go, of course there's a process that you have to go through. We'll provide up to 72 hours of emergency stay for that person. They'll also be given a emergency plan. They're given whatever their needs are. Pretty much we assist with making sure that happens. We also do a lot of outreach programs. We speak to the youth. We speak to not just youth, we speak to young boys specifically. We go out in the community, and we just want people to understand that there's help for you as a survivor. There's help for you if you're the abuser. So we just make sure that we get that information out. But more importantly, it's the emergency safe haven, because sometimes you just need a peace of mind and a quiet place to think and know that you're not alone. There is help, and that's one of the things that we do for.
Now, within that 72 hours, if the woman wants a place to stay for a longer period of time, do you direct her where to go?
Yes, so we partner with the Prince George's County Family Justice Center. We also work with the state's attorney office in there. We have Maryland Legal Aid is there. We have social services are there. So all of these programs to help you move forward are available for you, but we just got to get you in the door.
So how important is it to come up with an emergency plan? If you know you're in a situation, how important is it to know exactly to save money?
Yes.
To have some place possibly to go?
Yes.
How important is it to plan ahead?
It's very important, because most abusers get really angry. And abuse is about taking control, having control over someone else. So if you have your plan in place, there's no way he can take that power back from you, because the mere fact that you have this plan and you know exactly what to do and how to go through with your plan, you're in control now. So what you want to do is have that plan in place, so when you know your abuser, you know the temper, you know the triggers of the abuse. So if you're having a plan in place, you can easily, smoothly as possible, go out with your plan. So in most advocates, the Maryland Network for Domestic Violence, Nehe, House of Roof, 911, there are emergency plans that you can just go on any website, and there are all different types of emergency plans that you can have, and it'll show you directly what you need to do if you're in that situation.
A lot of women have to leave with the clothes on their back.
That's true.
With the shoes on their feet.
That's true.
With just grabbing anything in a paper bag that they can to make that move.
Absolutely. So again, one of the beauties, and I just love that we've been able to partner with the Prince George's County Family Justice Center. When I tell you we are one-stop shop, we are a one-stop shop. We've had clients that come in that situation, and we've been able to assist them to getting more clothing, more shoes, food. Again, you just have to come into the building. We need to know that you're there, and more importantly, clients need to know that we're here for them.
If you're talking to someone who needs your help but doesn't realize they need your help, what are the signs of domestic violence? What are the signs that you need to take a look at your situation and think about leaving it?
So we would not tell you to leave, but what we do notice, so you and I are friends. And I know that when you leave out, your hair is done, you have your makeup on, you wear nice jewelry. I know that you like to not so much hang out, but just be out in the community. One of the you can't miss signs is you won't wear your makeup today. You won't wear your jewelry. You'll stop being that person that I know and come to know you to be. So when you have a friend and they appear to be withdrawn, they don't want to do anything, they don't want to maybe go out, or even they have excessive makeup on, or they moving slow, you take that chance and you bring up that conversation. And a lot of times what we're doing, what I've done was give them the information. I mean, nothing is wrong with giving them the information. So it would be like, hey, you know, Nehe provides 72 hours of emergency stay, or you can talk about the Prince George's County Family Justice Center, because we provide protective orders there. You can get training. There's an awesome SIT program there, which is a 12-week, I believe it's a 12-week program, where it helps you and it builds you and it shows you that you can become that person that you were before this traumatic, you had to deal with this traumatic life experience. So I would speak to my friend or a relative or anyone with just what I just said to you. You got to know that if you know someone, or even if you see the bruises or the marks on them, just confront them with the information, because only they can make that decision. But I think what they always tell us, power is information. Give them the information, and that is a key of them starting to rebuild their life again.
Well, you know, Prince George's County, the Family Crisis Center has been going through their own crisis. Mm-hmm. How has that affected what you do?
Well, one of the things, because we did work with the Family Crisis Center, so with them, we've gotten a lot of call volume. Our call volume has gone high, is up. The difference between the two, the Family Crisis Center, you could stay for a much longer period of time, and we would work with them to get you your safety plan, to get you back on your feet, and perhaps even find your own place to live. So with us, we are working extremely harder. Excuse me, we have to make sure that the clients meet the criteria that we set. And just the volume has gone up, because that used to be our buffer. But now that they're not available, we get a lot of the calls now.
But there's still help out there.
Yes, there's still help out there.
Don't be discouraged by the fact that this is going on.
No, again, if you're a Prince George's County resident, you can come to the county, the Family Justice County Center, and they're there because there are other advocates, as myself, that can help you and assist you with getting away and being, getting that emergency stay and somewhere else to live.
You talked briefly about the youth and how you all are reaching out to the youth, and there's two good reasons that I can think of alone to talk to the youth. One, because a lot of times when a woman is being abused, there's children involved.
Yes.
And the second reason is to stop that generational violence. So it's good to talk to the youth and let them know.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about the first part of that, speaking to the youth.
So normally what we do is when we go out and speak to the youth, we talk about healthy relationships. We actually sit down with them and ask them, what do you think a healthy relationship is? And just to get them to open up and just to listen to what they think or what they believe a healthy relationship is. So we kind of listen to what they have to say, and then we encourage them to think, give them a different outlook or a different view of what a healthy relationship is. So it's an open dialogue.
What are you hearing from the youth? What are they saying to you?
The youth thinks that they think it's fun when, and specifically girls, when the boyfriend calls constantly, wants to know where they are, what you doing, who you hanging out with. They think, oh, he really likes me when he does those things. And some for the girls too. Some girls are the same. So what we hear from them is that they don't look at that as being a small introduction
when that can be
to domestic violence. Exactly. So what it does, when we bring that to their attention on both sides, they go, I never thought of it that way. Because not until afterwards, you don't answer that call the one time, and that person is upset because you didn't answer the call or you didn't respond to the text message. So we're trying to train our youth that you can have a healthy relationship, but also communication is key as well. And you must, when something seems off or you have a gut feeling, you have to tell your parents or an adult that's in the situation so that they can guide you as well. So those are some of the things that we talk about with them. And then we show them the domestic violence wheel. And that wheel pretty much talks about when the relationship starts, the different phases of a person as they're going through domestic violence. And again,
what are those phases?
Some of the phases is, again, the honeymoon phase is when everything is really nice, you're really getting to know a person, and then you move through the aggressive phases where the phone calls pick up, the text messages continue, and then you get through the angry phases when they actually show you that they're angry, or they move you from your friends. A lot of times when you're in a new relationship, you tend to spend more time with that person versus your friends and your family. Well, that's one way that you're being pulled away and you're being isolated from the friends and family that could see those signs of abuse. So then you go through they take you through the self-esteem, where now you're not fun anymore. You don't wear your hair the same way. You don't want to do anything, or you're no good. You can't do this. You eat too much, or you're too small. You're too large. So again, that's part of the breakdown phase. And then the abuse starts. And by this time, you don't know what to do. You don't know who you should call. You don't know who you can trust to tell. And then you start to internalize, well, maybe this was my fault. Maybe I made him angry. I made her angry. So, and then the abuse is there.
Wow. Mm-hmm. And that's something very good for kids to see.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about the numbers. There are some new numbers out.
Yes. So the Maryland National Domestic Violence Network reported early this month, we've had 46 deaths involved in domestic violence. That number
46 deaths in Maryland.
In Maryland. And that's just Maryland alone. The website has an awesome wealth of knowledge. So those that wanted to see the breakdown, and it's a breakdown by the county. Also, they have a breakdown by current and ex-boyfriends. There are 22 by their current or ex-boyfriends. There were 22 deaths by the current or ex-husbands. And then there were deaths by girlfriend was killed by her girlfriend, or boyfriend killed by his boyfriend. So again, we spoke on it earlier. Domestic violence is not a gender, it's not economic, it's not I have power, it's not Hollywood, it's not the White House, it's everywhere.
That's very true.
It's everywhere.
That's very true, and we can see from those numbers.
Yes.
That it doesn't have a specific profile.
No, it does not. It does not. And that's why we wanted to speak. One of the things we wanted to do was speak to the youth. So if you see this type of behavior, you can change it or you can get help. And I think that's very important because it's a cycle. If you in a home and this is what you see your parents do, dad or boyfriend beats mom or mom beats the husband or her boyfriend, then you as a girl, you're going to go out and you're either going to look for someone that you can do that to, or you're going to become that person. So we just think it's very important that we keep talking about it, we share the information so that we can stop it. And again, I always say knowledge is power. So the more you know about it, the more help you can get yourself or someone else.
How receptive have the teens been?
They've been great. They've been really good. It wasn't something that we set out to do, but once we got involved with helping, it was one of those necessary things that needed to be done. Not later this month, in March, we're going to have another workshop on the Trickle Effect.
And what's that?
That's talking to the youth about how they feel and what they see when they see their parents in that type of situation. Because a lot of times we as adults, because kids still go to school or they may still go out and play, we don't think that it has affected them. Because we're thinking about, oh, they're okay, or they didn't get abused physically. We forget about them emotionally. So we're having a round table at the Prince George's Family Justice Center, and we're going to talk about the trickle effect, how it affects our youth.
In wrapping up the program today, do you have a round table, meaning you have people there who are domestic violence specialists in addition to the kids? How does that work?
So what'll happen is we'll have guests who are parents who have been domestic violence survivors. We will not have any youth there, but we'll have people who have specialized with speaking with the youth and see the effects of that. And again, it's an information program, so we'll talk about what happens, how did it affect this family, what did you do to get assistance for you and your kids, and what other programs are available for children and family. So we'll have that discussion, and we'll have questions. You'll be able to ask questions as well. To find out where to go, what we should do, how do I handle it, how do I answer the questions that the kids have, because you have to speak to them. You have to let everyone know what's going on with you. That's the only way we're going to be able to stop this.
Yeah, it's a new day. It's not that children should be seen and not heard. You have to talk to them because, like you said, they go on about their lives, but you don't know what's going on inside their heads. And then next thing you know, it's manifested in another way. They're acting out at school.
Yes.
The grades are dropping.
Absolutely.
They're not hanging out with their friends, or they're hanging out too much with their friends. There may be some drug abuse or alcohol.
And all of those are factors
involved.
of that. Even if you have two siblings in the home, one sibling would be abusive to the other. So that manifests, oh, you hit it on the head. That is exactly how that happens, and that works.
Yeah, yeah, so it's good that you all are bringing awareness to this. It has been an absolute pleasure talking to you today, and we will continue having this discussion, talking about it. Is a very important discussion. It doesn't just affect Hollywood stars, as we just said. It doesn't just affect folks at the White House. It affects everyday people. And we'll give your information at the end of the program as well.
Thank you so much, and I also say it's your neighbor.
Yes, indeed it is.
It's your neighbor.
Yes.
Well, thank you.
You've been watching the Sisters for Fitness Wellness Show. I'm Stephanie Gaines-Bryant. Have a great day.